Bless you, people of God. We thank God for your lives. We started another set of teachings on forgiveness. It's actually a continuation of how to build the house of God, how not to forget the house of God. We started by unpacking Luke chapter 10. Jesus sent the 70 two by two into every house and every place. But when they got to town, he told them actually that when you go to a house, first speak the peace of God into that house. And when you speak the peace of God and there is a man of peace in that house, that peace that you speak will remain. But if the house has not been arranged peacefully, the peace of God that you speak will return to you. And we concluded by saying that he sent them into every house, but not every house would receive the blessings of God because not every house is arranged peacefully. Now, fast forward. Let's do Genesis chapter 45, verse 5. The story of Joseph. But now, do not therefore be grieved or angry with yourselves, because you sold me here. For God sent me before you to preserve lives. You sold me, but God sent me. So there are two perspectives here. Now, the perspective of Joseph was that God sent him. That is a heavenly perspective. That is an eternal plan of God. That is a prophetic perspective. But for his brothers, the earthly perspective is that they sold him. Now, at the point where Joseph was being sold, he didn't know he was being sent by God. So take note. He had this garment of many colors representing where God was taking him. And he had a dream that people were going to bow to him. He was sold. At the point he was being sold, he didn't know God was sending him. He came to Potiphar's house. He still didn't know God was sending him. How do I know this? When he rose through the ranks and then got to a place where now he was a prime minister and gave birth to his first son, he named the son Manasseh, meaning God has made me forget my suffering and my father's house. He had not forgotten or forgiven his brothers at the time he even had children. But he was patient. His prophetic destiny was going to be fulfilled through patience. He was patient in the house of Potiphar. He endured trials from Potiphar's wife. He was patient even in prison. Joseph was interpreting people's dreams when his dream was still waiting. Patience. Now, you have a destiny you must fulfill, but the process to that destiny is full of challenges, full of upset, full of anger, full of resentment. But when it got to the time that he was supposed to interpret people's dreams, interpret the dream of Pharaoh, listen to me carefully. Joseph had to forgive the whole Egyptian system that put him to jail. He had to forgive Potiphar and Potiphar's wife. And now he must forgive his brothers. Here, he realizes that it was not his brothers who sold him, but God who sent him. Now, being sold by your people and being sent by God, both could be fulfilled. So he received a prophetic word by having a dream that people were going to bow to him. Now, at the point he was confronted, he was facing his brothers. He could have fulfilled being sold or fulfilled being sent by God. What made a difference? He zoomed into the prophetic dimension, the eternal plan of God, and decided that in the plan of God, God sent me. In the earthly plan of man, they sold me. So I forgive you. Point is, it is easy to forgive when you understand that what is happening to you was actually the eternal plan of God. Let me put it in another way. In every situation, try to discover the plan of God in that bad situation. Then you can forgive easily. So the prophetic destiny being fulfilled lied in the fact that Joseph forgave. If he had not forgiven, being sold by his brothers would have been fulfilled. Glory. Glory. It is easy. Jesus forgave his people because he knew the eternal plan of God was to go to the cross. But God was going to use, these are not testings. These are sufferings. Sufferings grow you into maturity. And then he passed the maturity test by discovering. It was not a selling, but a sending. Oh, glory. Glory. God will use these situations. If you can be patient in Potiphar's house, patient in prison, your time is coming. For you have been patiently waiting to fulfill a prophetic destiny. Don't get caught up in an earthly perspective. Zoom into a heavenly, eternal perspective, and you realize that, oh, it is easy. And there you will fulfill your destiny. Prophetic utterances are hanging on people's heads just because they are holding on and looking at it from an earthly perspective. This is Pastor Ademadom from King's Ministry. God bless you.